like you guys literally changed my life in the span of 4 months, working together. And I know that if you can do it for me, then you can definitely do it for someone else.
Awesome. So we are live, and I'm so excited for this session today with one of my favorite people and favorite clients. Her energy is contagious. She's an entrepreneur, boss lady. Her story is remarkable. Her success is phenomenal. And that is Miss Melisha from M. Lockhart Financial Services. It's been months. We've been trying to get her on camera with us to do this. Obviously, with everything that happened over the last few months with, the pandemic and all that, it's been kind of difficult. But finally, we've been able to make it happen. So thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
I am great. Thank you for asking, Max. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm so fired up. I'm super pumped for this. And I'm much better now that we're on Zoom together.
Yes, so much better. It's me. It's you.
Yes, absolutely. So, we do these sessions, and the reason why we do these interviews is really two reasons. Number one, because we love to share strategy, stories, the struggle of what successful entrepreneurs had to endure in order to get to where they're at. Because you've had a lot of success in the last few months, but we want to be able to share not just the successes, but everything that you had to go through. So we want to be able to share that with people. And then the other reason why too is because we just love to brag about our clients. We love it when our clients are killing it, and we want to just show the world, hey, these are the people that we get to work with. How lucky and fortunate are we, to be able to work with quality, professional, amazing, inspiring individuals. And that's a blessing for us. And so I'm super pumped for this interview. I'm going to stop talking now, because what I would love for you to do is just share with the world who you are, what your company is all about, what you do, and then we can go into the rest of our interview. So the floor is yours.
All right. So my name is Melisha. I am the owner of M. Lockhart Credit Repair Services. I started this company back in 2016. When I started off with my credit, I started off with horrible credit, as a matter of fact, credit in the low 400s. And then I brought it all the way up to a very high 700 that I'm currently maintaining. And after that, I started doing it for my family members and my friends. And then I saw the impact that I had on them just by changing their credit and helping them to be able to purchase homes, helping them to be able to just get new credit cards. And then, my parents being able to buy businesses and things of that nature.
Wow.
So I saw how just that little key part of just changing their credit, helping them establish great credit, and it just changed their lives for the better. And since then, I was like, maybe I can help other people. And I just started doing that as well. And so I take pride in helping to transform people's lives by transforming their credits.
That's awesome. One quote that I saw, I don't know, if this is 100% accurate, but it says that 800 credit score has more buying power than $100,000. Would you agree
Yes.
with that? Yeah.
Yes, it does. It does. It
Yeah.
really does have a lot more buying power. As long as it's structured properly, then yep, you can get that money. You don't even need to have it in your account.
Woo! So I love it. So it started with family. It started off with yourself first, which is your credit, then it's your family and friends. And then, but before you knew it, it snowballed into what it is today, a business where, in the last, I guess, couple of months, I think it was a 3-month window, you generated over $100,000 in sales. You scaled to 100 grand. And now you're in the process of scaling your business to 100 grand per month. Is that correct?
Yes, that is. That is the goal. And that is exactly what we're working on.
Now, before we talk about the numbers, because that's something we are going to get into, I'd love for you to just share with people, what did you do before credit repair? And how did that transition into where you're at today?
So I used to work for a real estate law firm company. And then after that, I used to work for oh my God, what is the next thing? I used to work for an ambulance company in Jersey. I moved there. And then after that, I got into promotional marketing, helping people grow their business by offering them customized hat, just custom everything just to promote your company in so many different ways besides your website, and the average norm online, right? And then after that, in 2016, boom, I fell on credit because I started with my own credit. And then at that point, I grew it from there. Now, I was extremely scared. I did not know anything about credit when I initially started on my own. And then even helping out, all of my family members and friends to scale theirs, it was, some tides and some turns, some ups and some downs, just so I could be able to master and understand exactly, how it works and the best credit portfolio that needs to be able to get the approval that you want.
Got it.
Mhm.
So that part of the process, what would you say would be one of the biggest challenges you experienced when starting your credit repair business back in 2016, 2017 timeframe?
Being consistent. Being
Oh,
consistent, yes. Because I wanted to, take on the new clients. I'm like, okay, this is money. And like, we all love money, right? And we all want to
yep.
grow. And even when you think back, like 2013 to 2016 was like when e-commerce was just like really building up, like having your own online business and things of that nature. And I wanted to do all of those things, but I didn't know exactly how to master it, to be consistent and grow at it and actually staying focused, because it may look all glamorous and glory when you see everyone have their own thing. They're doing this, they're flying over here, they have their own company, they work for themselves, but they don't really show, the struggles that come with it along the way. That it literally takes hard work, it takes dedication, and it just requires for you to be so focused on each and every goal, because every small step matters.
Important. I think a lot of people, when they start a business, it's more like they're starting a hobby. And most people have a full-time job because they're trying to support themselves financially while they're building their credit repair business. And it's hard. I think one thing we talked about was distractions and being distracted, and how you literally had to just like set things up in a place where you eliminated the distractions so you could just put your blinders on and focus on your business
Yes.
in order for you to scale. Now, did you go full-time right away, or did you start in credit repair part-time?
No, so well, I mean, I was out of work at that time anyways. Like I said, I had my business, my promotion
Yeah.
marketing. And then once I finished with that, I think I had like about a 6 to 8 span window by myself. And then I had to work for a pharmaceutical company. Forgot about that. I was managing the business at this pharmaceutical company for about a year and a half before they had layoffs. And then at that point, I really had to take the reins in and really just scale and really try to grow my business all by myself. Luckily, I had the assistance of family at the time anyways, so I wasn't by myself
Yeah.
along the whole way.
That's important. So you had the support of the family to kind of give you that
Mhm.
foundation to kind of help you in that process of figuring things out with the credit business. But the
Mhm.
catalyst was you were working at a pharmaceutical job, and they were doing
Mhm.
layoffs. And was that what gave you like, okay, I need to make this work? There's always
Yes.
a breaking point for people when they say, okay, if it is to be, it's up to me. I got to burn the boats.
Mhm.
So was that the moment for you when you said I had to
Yes.
burn the boats and go full throttle with your business?
That is literally when the tide took the turn, was when they had their layoffs, because every market doesn't stay the same, right? And so at that point I was like, I definitely don't want to be here. And honestly, through all of my life and all of the places that I've worked at, I've never been
Yeah.
somewhere longer than 2 years, only because I'm like, this is not where I need to be. I need to be growing and growing and growing. So at every point, even while I was working for someone else, I always wanted to grow and grow and grow and grow throughout that way. And I knew was like, I have to be, a business owner. And
Mm,
honestly, business owners, entrepreneurs literally are in my family as well. So I have like familial examples
sure.
around me and friends as well. So I was like, I knew I want this for myself, not only just for them, but just for me.
Yeah. So that's what drove you. So it wasn't necessarily just the money, it was the ability to just be able to have a limitless opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
And when you say grow, like what did you see? What was your vision for that? Like, did you envision yourself like driving a Bentley, or was it just growing to reach your potential? Like, what does that mean for you?
What growth means for me is about setting up generational wealth, because it's
Mm,
nice for me to have it now, but then
yeah.
how about my kids and then my kids' kids? Obviously we want to take, full, enjoyment of the fruits of our labor, and I believe in that as well.
Yeah.
But it's about having the longevity. Like when you see someone, when they tell you, hey, I stopped working at the age of 20, and then they're now 60 or they're 70, that's about 40 to 50 years working for themselves. You have to be able to last the whole marathon. If you cannot
Sure.
last that long, if you cannot have longevity, and you're just thinking about the now, and you're just trying to get this now, you're trying to get this now and flashy, flashy, you're not going to make it that long. You're really not. And so you have to stay focused upon the course. And so for me, growth, like the definition of growth is lasting long, being in this for a lifetime. Because I'm young, I'm very young. You know what I mean? And I
I
don't
love
want
it.
now, I want this forever and then some.
Mm. Yeah, one thing, we hear about like the one hit wonders in business, right? They'll have a few good months, maybe a few good years, and then that's it, they're done.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love what you're saying because it's a different shift in thinking where like a lot of people have the right now microwave mentality, right? Let me get it, let me show it. Who cares what happens tomorrow, right? But maybe during this pandemic, I think a lot of people might begin to realize the importance of longevity and
Yes.
financial security and
Mhm.
planning for the future. With unemployment rates the way they are, cash flow slowing down for a lot of businesses. I think a lot of people may have wished that they had started planting those financial seeds maybe a while back.
Yeah, no, seriously.
I think
It's
that's incredible. I think
yeah.
that's awesome. So now, in terms of your credit business, looking at the opportunity to create a business, number one. Number two, the cash flow that you're able to generate with your credit repair business. For people
Mhm.
who are brand new in credit repair, or even in entrepreneurship, because some viewers are not even in the credit space,
Yeah.
what would you say? What advice would you give them when starting out to help them kind of not necessarily shorten the learning curve because everyone has to go through a learning curve, but what would be a good piece of advice that you could give them to help them endure the journey and have that long-term mindset, when it comes to building their business?
Do it because you know you want to help someone else. That's
Mm,
literally it. Because at the end of the day, let's just be real. Credit repair has a bad name in the business, in the industry. Some people don't believe in it. Some people are saying, oh, these people steal your money, it's a scam and things of that nature, but it's actually not. The unfortunate part is when someone comes to you, they may have gone through another company that may have scammed them, and that they may have horrible experience when it comes to the credit repair, game, the whole credit repair system. And so when they come to you, they're literally looking for help. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm looking to transform someone's life because I know
wow.
small key of aspect. Like your time with me is temporary. I tell everybody this. I'm like, we're here for about 6 months and that's it. After that, you have your credit for a lifetime. So I'm helping you throughout this time frame to set you up for the lifetime success. And even when, some clients are looking for that immediate satisfaction. Oh no, I want the 30-day to 45-day success. No, it took you time to mess up your credit. It's going to take you time to restore your credit.
I love
And
that.
so I say, if you're getting into the credit repair business, the credit repair industry, do not do it for yourself. Do not do it because you want to, only make this money. Do it because you're literally invested in someone else's life, because credit literally is life almost. It's like this is how the banks will look at them. This is what will speak on, are they trustworthy or not?
That's amazing. I think that's such a paradigm shift where, in a lot of times, and maybe even I'm guilty of this at times. We're thinking about what's in it for me, right? What do I get from it? But what you're saying is put your attention and focus on transforming someone else's life, and that's what's going to drive you to stay
Yeah.
the course. I think that's incredible. That's
Yeah, 'cause
awesome.
you know what it is? At least like when I think about that is because I think about some of the conversation that I have with some of my clients where we're crying. I'm screaming, they're screaming, we're going back and
Wow.
only because of the success and like, oh my God, I'm gonna be able to do this. Oh my God, I can do that. I never imagined. Do you know how long that it's been that I've had bad credit? All of these types of scenarios. And like you sit back and you're like, wow, I did that. Like I had a helping hand in changing this person's life. And a lot of these people have kids, they have family. You know what I mean? And so they're not doing this only for themselves. They're also doing it for their family.
Absolutely. So what I'm hearing is you literally care about your people. You care about your
Yes.
customers. Like these are
A
family. These
lot.
are, they become like an extension of your family,
Yes.
and they see you the same way. And that's totally different than what we see common ground with most other credit repair businesses. And you're absolutely right. A lot of people have experienced the other companies and they've gone through bad experiences because they were treated like a number. They were just treated like, a customer, and that was it. But instead, you are literally creating that connection and really becoming close with your customers.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. And tell
Mhm.
me about that because I think for business owners who are struggling in credit space to keep customers, because there's different models in the credit space. There's the
Mhm.
pay per delete, there's pay per month, there's the flat fee. Now,
Mhm.
regardless of what the pay structure is, how important is it to build that relationship with the customer so you can help them see it through? Because I'm sure there's a lot of competition. Maybe they're seeing other ads from other credit
Mhm.
repair companies. Tell me how the relationship factor plays a part in loyalty with your customers.
So number one, it's all about getting to know the person, right? So it's like, hey Max, like what are your goals? Like
Yeah,
it's important for me to understand what is it that you want? Because I mean, everybody wants great credit. Like, let's just be honest. No one wants to have bad credit. Let's just
right.
put it out there. Everybody wants great credit. Okay. So you want great credit. How do you want to use your great credit though? Are you looking to be able to get a car? Are you looking to be able to get a loan? Are you looking to be able to get a credit card? Is it because you're interested in getting a home? Is it because you're interested in, starting a business? There's so many reasons why
Yeah,
this person wants to do something that is now going to change their whole life moving forward. So, majority of the conversations that I've been having, even during this pandemic time, everyone's goal is they want to get a home. Well, why do you
sure.
want a house? I have these kids. I'm a single mother. I'm a father. I have this family. We're living in a bad place, et cetera, et cetera. And then you start to think about, okay, well, you want this house. You want to be able to get it for your kids. You want to be able to leave something behind for your kids. Because once you get the house, that is your asset. You're leaving behind legacy that they can be able to tap into, or you can tap into, while you're here, that can be able to start something else. And so in turn, at the end of the day, their credit is just the starting point to their lifetime success, not only for them, but also too for their family. And I've never met anyone that does not want better for themselves and their family.
Yeah. And if there is someone like that, you probably don't want them as a client.
Exactly. No, no, no. And at that point, keeping them focused on that. Because then once we get down to the goal, okay, we got your goal. We know what you want. We
Yeah.
know what you want to change. So then how are we going to get there? Are you going to be committed to this? Because you
Uh-huh.
have committed to it as the client. And then at that point, it's just about, conversations that we have along the way, making sure that their goal is curated, making sure that their plan is curated to help them assist and accomplish their goal along the whole way. And like you said, there is competition. There's so many other things out there. But then also, too, one of the key things that does change that sets me apart from everyone else is that my service is not the same. When you think about credit repair, it's all about disputing. There's this whole thing, dispute, dispute, dispute. We don't dispute, all because there's just so many, crazy things out there. And it's just temporary success, honestly, when it comes to disputing.
Yeah, I know when we spoke about that, you mentioned the importance of an entire credit history or a profile, right? And that was kind of, interesting to hear that because you're right. We serve credit repair businesses and the majority of our clients, that's what they do. They dispute, it's pretty standard. It's standard
Mhm.
practice.
Yeah.
So when we were talking, because we were kind of building out, our next phase of our growth, and you kind of just shared with us what made you different, that was
Mhm.
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And so I think what I'm hearing there is, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, because like the thing is like, like let's be honest, like it is us. Like we are responsible for the debt. Hey,
Yeah,
I know you can prove it's me. So it's like there's a true difference when it comes to disputing and challenging, because although an item may be legally collectible, disputing, it may not be legally reportable. So that's just the difference between the two and the way that I work.
I see.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So people still have to pay their debt, period, is what you're saying. Like it's even
I
if you
say
moved
that
off the credit
I say
report.
that it's up to you as your integrity, where your integrity lies, how you want to move in life. You do not
Yeah,
determine that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You are the the driver in your life, and so however you want to move with that, I encourage you to do the right thing always and forever. I
that's
encourage
important.
all of my clients to do the right thing, but then whatever they want to do is what they will do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. What I'd like to talk about now is so for our business, what we always look at and what we always preach when it comes to scaling, because that's what the system that you're part of and how we connected was through our scale system, right? Now, the Famous Group is obviously an agency that works with businesses with marketing and all that, but the system specifically is called Scale, and that's where we're leveraging marketing, we're leveraging selling, we're leveraging pretty much all the different components. And we actually broke it down into four components. And I'd love to get your take on it. The four components are marketing, selling or sales, operations, reputation. because we believe that you need these four things in order to not just grow, but consistently grow. Because if
Yes.
you have good operations, which could be a good service, a good product, good deliverables, but you have no marketing and no sales, like no new customers coming in, that's
Exactly.
like that's like having a good restaurant with no customers. No one's there
Mhm.
to enjoy it or experience it, right?
Yep.
So what I want to talk about first would be marketing. Can you tell me about marketing and how marketing has helped you? In fact, let's go into the numbers first, and then we'll talk about the four pillars. So
Okay.
why don't you, when you first started working with us, why don't you tell me or share with the world or whoever's watching this where your business was at before you even made a decision to hire an outside agency like the Famous Group, with credit repair? Where was your business prior to working with us?
So where my business was prior to working with you guys, I think I was like making what I'm making now a monthly, or where my goal was at monthly, just about every quarter, I would say. So like it would take me at least every 3 months to make what I'm making in a month.
Wow.
My business now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So from there, I honestly I didn't know that marketing, paying for advertising and all of those things really had a key point to it. But along the way, I learned the best marketer wins, because at the end of the day, everyone practically does like almost like the same thing, and so you just
Mm-hmm.
have a different way to put it out there and to market it to people, and then someone will, watch and pick up what you're putting down.
Absolutely. So I love what you just said there. There's a lot of similar companies out there, but how you market yourself is going to be the first impression. So someone can see, oh, that's different. That's interesting. And then
Mhm.
obviously you get their attention. So when you
Yeah.
started marketing, how did that help accelerate your business? Like what did you notice started changing as you started, investing in advertising and marketing and all that with your business?
So the leads came in, at a much higher rate. That's number one. And then number two, it actually, I became nervous because of the high rate of people that I started to get in the door. I'm like, oh my God, like I was shaking on the phone, like as if I was doing, like this was my first time doing calls, my first time taking on clients. But what it was for me, it was at a much bigger rate. And then at this point, I was like, wow, like, we definitely have to make sure that, these clients are getting exactly what they are seeing out there, with the marketing, and making sure that I put in my time into the type of quality of marketing tools, the videos and things like that.
Yeah,
You guys had me do like those things, like me putting my face out there. Oh, scariest thing of my life. I don't like it. I'm very much private. And so me having to step forth and put my face out there is one of the biggest things that, you know, really set me apart, really through things.
absolutely.
Like it's like I just jumped off the cliff with that part right there and getting that thing done.
Absolutely. I remember when we actually started utilizing your videos within the marketing, the landing pages, and all that, we saw an increase of volume of leads as well as a decrease in cost. And I think that's also right around the time when your sales began to increase.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think at that point, people felt like they connected with you because they saw you on video and they could hear your voice. And it was like you're a real person. You're not just some faceless company. That's awesome. So the marketing helped you increase volume of leads. Now let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about selling, because when it comes to selling, you can generate all the leads in the world. And a lot of companies think they have a marketing problem. And what ends up happening is, let's say they work with an agency, they work with us, they start getting all these leads, but for whatever reason, they're not able to convert them into customers. And of course, they want to blame the ad, they want to blame the targeting. But what we always find out, it's usually their inability to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell me about selling and how you sell this thing and how you've been able to convert? You have a high close rate for cold Facebook leads. It's the industry average is like 5%. You're at 12%. So you're more than double the industry average, just so you know. Yeah, and we'll show the numbers in a second. But can you talk about selling and what you're doing to be so effective at closing deals?
So, number one, I connect with the person immediately. You know what I mean? By asking them, just what their goals are, and then always reminding them, bringing them back to their goals in that telephone, in that time span that I have with them on the phone, just bringing you back to your goals, how you want to get this done. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And are you going to be dedicated to getting that done? In them being that focus in getting that done, at that point, at the end, it's really that easy, right? I've kept you focused on your goal. We've talked about how you want to get this done, and why this piece of credit and why this matters to you so much, and what kind of doors it will open up for you. And then at that point, I take them into the me. First, let's
Yeah.
focus on you, why you want to get this done. What is it that you're looking to get done? How did you get here? Have you worked with anyone in the past? Have you been burned? And all those things. Let me hear you out. And then now this is what I can do to help you get that done.
So
And
you
that's
you 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 get to know what their pain is, their goals are, their wants, their needs first. So you
Mhm.
listen first, and then
Yes.
you provide the solution. Now,
Yep.
you are not cheap. Your pricing is not cheap, I would say. I mean, again, we work with a lot of credit repair companies, and we see all types of pricing models. You're
Uh-huh.
not cheap, but
No.
and I know that's a barrier for a lot of people.
Yeah.
They're afraid to charge more. Can you
Mhm.
talk about that? Can you talk about pricing and charging a premium?
Let me tell you, you know what you're worth. If you know you're putting down this work on this table, you know what you're worth, you know what kind of dedication and the time that you're going to put into this client's file, you have to be able to be paid properly. You don't want to overwork and burn yourself out and not be properly compensated, because to be honest, you have a team, you have people to take care of, and then you got to still be able to put time into this person's file. So if it's not worth it financially, why even put your time into it? At the end of the day, I'm big. It's all good and dandy to help someone change someone's life, but if you're not going to be paid for it,
Hmm. So how do you handle that? Like if someone says, "Oh, you're way more expensive than these other guys, these other companies." Like what's your response to someone who says you're really expensive, you're too expensive?
number one, you can't even compare how I work on your file with someone else's file, right? Remember, I'm a specialty credit repair firm. I'm not disputing. So even when you want to set the table and try to compare, you can't even set the table with our name on it because we're not even doing the same method. So
Mm,
go ahead and set all the tables with everyone else, and then come over here. My table is totally prepared differently, and how we get these negative items removed off of your credit report, because that's what matters. And so when they have that comment back, oh my God, it's just too expensive, you can't compare us with anyone else. And honestly, it may sound like, like people may think like, huh? I actually rather them go somewhere else and have an experience. I hope it's great.
mm.
But if it's not great, and then they'll come back over here and be like, I
Oh
should have just
wow.
you. I should have just done this. Because at this point, once they start to see the results with you, they're literally sold. At that point, they're going around telling everybody and their mama about you, because I've done this. I spent 6,000 here. I spent thousands of dollars there. I've done all this. And just in a matter of months, in the time frame that they've been with me, I've been able to do so much more that they've done with years working with other companies, paying maybe $50 a month to maybe $100 a
Yep.
month. Doesn't
Right.
even compare.
And are so what I'm hearing there is really powerful. So what you're saying is the best prospect, in fact, could be someone who's already tried before and got burned, so they can
Yes.
appreciate your value.
Mm-hmm.
Because people don't know what they got, right? They don't know
No,
what they
they
don't
don't
know.
know what they do not know what they got. No. And I mean, like, we're constantly working on a file. So even though that our rate is expensive, we're just not paper pushers. You know what I mean? Like just mailing out 3 docs a month or whatever. We're literally here working on your file throughout the month. We literally have a schedule on everyone's file that when
Wow.
they come in throughout the month, we know this has to go out and this has to go out. So no, you have to be properly compensated for everything, because those comes with costs
Yeah.
naturally.
That's incredible. I think that right there is that some powerful gold nuggets there. Charging a premium and why you can, and believing in yourself and what you're worth, and that's incredible. That's really awesome. What I like to talk about as well is I'm going to share my screen now, if that's okay. Do you mind if I share your dashboard? Can we go over some of the stuff here on the dashboard?
Yes.
Okay. So what I love about the dashboard here, and I know that some of the numbers haven't been updated. I think we spoke since we started working together in February. I believe it was February. Do you know
Mhm.
about how many clients you closed from February till now? Do you have like a ballpark number?
About 400, relatively close to 500.
About close to 500 clients. Now,
Literally
what's it?
480, as a matter of fact. Let's be, I'm at 480, 490.
480, 490. Now it's showing 317 here, but that's because it's not updated, right?
No, I know. And I'm going day by day. Every time I speak to a client, I'm realizing, like, oh, okay, I didn't put that information. Let me put you in
Yeah.
the books.
Not and that's cool. And that's cool. And it says here pipeline value 600,000. That's total value, but close is showing 37,000. So do you know your total revenue closed since we started working together in the last 4 months?
Total revenue close is at relatively close to 90,000. I
Yeah.
just hit that mark.
Very cool. Very cool. And that was kind of the goal when you first started off with us. You wanted to be able to hit about 100K within 90 days.
Yeah.
And now our conversation is about how to take it to 100K a month, right?
A month. Yes.
Yep. And
Because it's like,
so,
if that's achievable, then let's go higher.
yep, exactly. So one thing I love about this is what you have going on here. If we actually go into your calendar, I thought this was like the most impressive part of it. If we would just look at your schedule, like if we just look at the schedule here, look at how many appointments you have in a single day. That's
Mm-hmm.
like 20 plus appointments lined up. And these are sales calls, consultations that's happening, right? And then if
Mm-hmm.
we go to what the previous week, let's look at the previous, look at that schedule every single week.
Yes.
Look at that schedule, Monday through Friday. It's like, man, do you even have time to eat lunch?
I know. This is what I'm changing my schedule. Max, trust me, I'm like changing it now. I'm creating more space and time for myself now.
Double booked, triple booked on time slots. I mean, if we look at a monthly view of your calendar, like all these appointments that are happening, these are calls, brand new leads coming in, people who are
Mhm.
booking calls. You're jumping on the phone. You're going over what you're going over.
Yeah.
Um, and so that work ethic, can you talk about that work ethic of you just being relentless with your schedule and just making it happen? Because it's impressive.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, number one, it's draining, and like I like even in some of like those spaces that you saw there, they're gonna be filled
Yep.
up really by the end of the day, right?
Yep.
And um, as draining as it is, though, I love it. I love it. Like I love talking to people, and I love hearing them and getting to know, like what their goals are. And like I said to you, you know, just having my like literally having my schedule open just shows you how dedicated I am to changing their lives. That's all it
Yep.
is. Me and my dedication to wanting to meet more people and wanting to be able to have access to more people. Now I try
Yep.
to open and book as many people as possible only because everyone's time zones are different, because we do
Yep.
clients from all different time zones. Even like the most I think Hawaii is about 6 hours behind, you know
Yep.
clients there as well. So really try to open up all of those slots or time frame as much as possible to be able to help meet the community's needs, because that's what it is, meeting people's needs.
Yeah, absolutely. So you just, and it's interesting because I'll have some clients where they're like, oh, I only want to take calls from like 1 to 12, or sorry, like 10 to 12, or, 2 hours here. And I get it. But the reality is opportunity knocks when it knocks. And so what you're
Okay.
saying is just leave it open and we're going to make it happen. We're going to find a way. We're going to make a way. And you're like packed out. And that's how
Yes.
you've closed 480
Mm-hmm.
clients in the last like 3-4 months, scaling your business to where it's at today. That's just really incredible. I love
Relentless.
it.
That's like that ruthless pragmatism. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just, I want this, we're going to go after it, we're going to get it. We want to change more people's lives. Let's get these people in. And
Yeah.
especially during time right now, everyone's, really focused on trying to just accomplish their goals. You know what I mean? The rules and regulations of the banking industry has changed tremendously due to the current pandemic that we're in right now. So, just trying to be
Absolutely.
there to help more people. That's literally what it is. It may be like people may think like, oh no, he's just trying to get more money. No, it's like, let's help more. There's
Yeah.
so much more people in the community that needs the help, that I want to
Yeah.
be able to touch and impact their life.
And that's it. You're putting other people first, and that's why you have infinite energy to do what you do. That's awesome. When you chase something bigger than money, you become bigger than money. You just become an unstoppable force, and I think it's inspiring to see. I know we're actually about to wrap up in the next 5 minutes. I would love for you to share, if you could, how has working with the Famous Group, using the scale system, we know. In fact, what I wanted to show people, if you don't mind, the first month of what happened when you got started. And we try to tell clients, like, it takes like normally 30 days to get acclimated with the system. Now you've closed 480 accounts since we started in February, but your
Mhm.
first, look at this. I think we started, it wasn't February 1st we started, it was somewhere
No,
in
but it was
February.
that same week or the week after.
Yeah, so look, you close 3 sales in February, according to the stats. And then in March, let's look at what happened here in March. You close 13 sales, so a little bit of bump, right?
Uh-huh.
You
Little
close
stuff, little
a
stuff.
little stunt, and then in April you close 79 sales.
And more, just so you know, more. It was more than that because I still have people I'm still adding from April.
Jesus, and then let's go to May, 154 sales. Like that's out of control. Like the exponential growth curve, like is just insane. So, how has working with the Famous Group, our team, you got John, who's incredible, Deanna, what has the experience been like working with us? And I want you to be 100%, transparent
Okay.
and just,
You want
you
to?
don't have to. I want transparency because we know we're not perfect, but we do everything in our power to, deliver the results. So, I would love for you to just share with the world what it's been like working with us.
So, just so you know, when I was having my first phone call with Deanna, she does not know this, and I was telling her I got, something special for her, right? When we had that phone call scheduled, I was actually going through a little bit of a depressing time moment myself personally, only because I didn't know how to really grow or just get things moving. Now, on the phone, we had a great conversation. She's like, yeah, I know you want to do this, you want to do that. It's like nice to have someone give you all this pep talk, but then it's like, how am I going to make it happen? Right. And is this actually going to work? And then so I took the leap and joined on. I told her what my goals were. We had our meeting. She said, this is what it's going to happen. This is what it's going to look like. But, it's going to take at least 3 months minimum to get there. I said, okay. So I'm holding on to that 3 months, right? And so initially, when I first started, getting some of those sales calls, and as you can see in the numbers that you showed, it was low. And I even shared with John, I was like, I don't know, maybe, like some of these calls are fake, is what I started to say, right? And then once I realized that I just had to keep going and that it took hard work, it took time, and it took me being dedicated. And I also had to shift my mindset because that's a big
Mm,
thing. I was blocking blessings and blocking, a lot of things that were actually already out there and around me. And at the moment that I did that, let my mindset go, started to shift, focus on shifting my mind, and I started to focus more on actually scaling and growing my business was literally when the tide started to turn. And so when you see those growth of those numbers, that not only speaks on you guys, but it also speaks to the relationship that we have together. Because you guys listen, and it's important for me to make sure that I have someone, especially like working with me, that listens and that knows how to tend to those things. And so I'm telling you, can definitely do it for someone else. And it's possible. And at the end of the day, it not only requires you guys to do the work, but it also too requires the person that is literally in the driver's seat, doing this. It's like you guys are, the passenger seat, the team, you guys are hooting, hollering for me, making sure that, come on, go after your goals and get this thing done. But also to it's me, but the work that you guys have been able to put into and help me deliver with the system, the scale system, it's so easy, it's so efficient, and the dedication that you guys have, with me, where I don't know about anyone else, I'm just talking about with me and what you've been able to put out there is just amazing. And so I know that you guys are literally transforming and changing other businesses' lives as well. I mean, I've even had conversations with other credit repair companies about you all service and how you guys are dedicated to the success of your client. And that's what matters the most is the dedication and the time that you guys put in it. And it's just amazing. It's just like when I mean amazing, amazing.
amazing. That was amazing. You're amazing. We really appreciate that, and that means a lot. I mean, and I think it just goes to show you, like, when you put other people's success first, it's going to come back to you, just like you do in your
Yeah.
credit repair business. We try to do that here with the Famous Group. And it's not always easy. It's not like you just hit a button, all of a sudden sales come in. As you know, it's an emotional roller coaster, especially the first month, 2 months. And
Yes.
like you said, you had to shift your mindset to think in terms of scale and growth and abundance and prosperity while this was coming into fruition.
Hmm.
Because if you looked at month one results and saw this a handful of sales, you probably, most people would have got discouraged and said, "Whoa, I'm gonna quit. This is not gonna work. Let me just stop." But Deanna also planted the seed. 3 months it's gonna take, because it does take time to build up that
Yes.
sales pipeline. And
Mhm.
now, to be able to have a conversation, when you sent that message to us on Slack a couple weeks ago, where you're like, yeah, I crossed that threshold, whatever, my 3-month goal. How do I now get to 100K a month? I mean, for all of us, that was like we all celebrated internally, because we're just like, man, that's what it's about, to see the progression, to see the growth. And it was just the best feeling ever. So we really are just so happy to see what you've done and where you've gotten to in your business. And we know this is just the beginning. It's only been a
This is
few months. So
and you know what, like that's the crazy part about it. It's like this is just the beginning. There is so much more to come. You just have to be able to trust the process. So to anyone and everyone that is thinking about, working with you guys, definitely do take on Famous Group, because you guys are the best. There's nothing like you guys. Your dedication and how personal you guys are, and that personalization that you guys offer is just amazing. And like you said, just being able to reach those different milestones matter a lot, because you guys don't know the kind of impact that you guys have like on our lives. Like it's crazy, you know what I mean? And it's just like, wow, because I worked with them, because I allowed them to do this, and because I trusted the process, and because I was patient, this is what came out of it. And that's what with anything in life, you know what I
it's
mean?
true. Absolutely. I love it. Well, I'm just so glad we were finally able to have this conversation. It's been months in the making. And so, before we wrap it up, is there anything that you'd like to just share with the audience who will be watching this video? Maybe some inspiration, motivation, some final advice that you can give them on their journey to scaling their business?
Consistency, hard work, dedication, and persistence is key. If you are not consistent every single day, getting up and going after it, it's not going to happen. If you are not going to continue to put out the same level of energy every single day, it's not going to happen. Trust the process, because it will happen no matter what. Anything, I'm talking about anything you want in life, you can have. You just have to set the plan and go after it.
I love it. That's incredible. Now, if people want to be able to find your business and learn more about your company, where can they go to learn about you, your company, and the incredible things you do?
So we're on Facebook as M Lockhart Credit Repair Services, and also too, our Instagram is Credit M Lockhart, and the way that you spell it is M as in Mary, LOCKHART. So Credit M Lockhart on Instagram, and M Lockhart Credit Repair Services. Our telephone number is 954-737-4843. Our website is mlockhartservices.com.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much again for jumping on here. Can't wait to share this with everyone. I'm going to go ahead and wish you an incredible close of the month, because it is the last day of the month. So, make it happen. And hopefully the next time we do this interview, we'll be talking about how you scaled from 100 grand in 90 days to 100 grand in 30 days.
Okay, okay, okay. Let's make it happen.
All right. So we'll do a virtual high five.
Woo!
Boom. All
Yes.
right. Thank you.
Have a safe, blessed day.
You too.